The Jewish founders of a New York City startup are speaking out after this college student rejected an interview offer with a shocking and anti-Semitic response. Cornell student Austin Franco writing, quote, "not interested in working for a Jew." Franco then doubled down in an online post writing, quote, "I will fight for what I believe is right, not for money, power, or something material, but for the cause itself." Now, that prompted Cornell to release a statement saying it's investigating and that it condemns anti-Semitism. Franco had applied for a summer internship with the startup VryfID, which is founded by proudly Jewish brothers Gabe and Aiden Einhorn.
My whole goal was that we've been seeing rising anti-Semitism, and the whole goal was just to prove that it is real, and this is a clear example of it. I thought maybe he's a college student, he could have made a mistake, or he's going to learn from it, don't need to ruin his life for it, but just to prove a point that anti-Semitism is real.
We want to grow our company, and we wanted to grow a team of college students from all different walks of life, with different backgrounds, and really build something special.
It is shocking, Guy, that this individual, when he doubled down on what he said, quote, "My experience with Jews had not been pleasant, both in person and online. This is not to say I haven't had positive experiences, but on the aggregate, that is not the case." He doubled down on his anti-Semitism.
Yeah, and he didn't even couch it in the Zionism euphemism. It was just straight up anti-Semitism, not disguised in any way. And then when called on, he was like, yeah, I haven't liked them. And that is basically where we are, I think, with a lot of young people on college campuses who've been poisoned now for years with a steady stream of propaganda, a lot of it, I think, with foreign influence. Notice in his statement sort of defending himself, he said, "Oh, I'm going to stand up for what's right." What? What's right about wanting to not work for a specific group of people because of their faith or ethnicity? It's the antithesis of right. So it's been completely flipped, and he said he's going to stick to his cause. What cause is that, if not Jew hatred? I don't want to pile too much on this, one kid, but I think that there's a permission structure out there now to talk this way about this group of our fellow Americans, or even around the world, in a way that would not be permissible with almost any other group right now. And there's a sickness here, I would say.
Gabe Einhorn, one of those owners of that company, Emily, that we just watched, he said, "I felt bad exposing him because I thought he could have made a mistake, and he really doesn't believe that wholeheartedly." I'm glad we know this individual's name. I'm glad he was exposed.
Indeed, and the brothers are so generous and graceful, certainly more than I am, because I do want his life to be ruined. I agree with you. It is a permissive structure. And parents, what are your children putting out there? What are the people that have been in your household putting out there online and to their friends? What has been fomented? Because clearly there is a disconnect. Somehow this person learned that there is an audacity that you can have with this anti-Semitism. That's what I found so shocking. Guy and I toured Poland together last May, and whenever I see things like this, it harkens me back to our trip, where apparently there's been no evolution since World War II. That deep-seated cultural hatred that's been allowed, that's been fostered, has somehow reignited here among the youth. And it is sickening. Cornell needs to take greater steps. So do parents. So do online forums. And somehow this 65-pound vessel of hatred needs to know that not only is this not okay, but it's not acceptable socially. Because clearly online and among those kid groups, I keep saying kid, among the youth, they have learned that it's okay, that it's right to have this anti-Semitism. It felt sickening for me to just quote him, by the way. To just say those words, quoting him, felt sick.
I'm really interested to see if Mr. Franco gets a job. Does anyone hire this guy? I really want to follow up on this.
Well, and also the irony is that he's studying industrial and labor relations, a degree that is centered around preventing workplace discrimination.
Wow.
The exact kind of bias that he is outwardly and publicly demonstrating against the Jewish people. He says his experiences with Jews have not been pleasant. Our experience with you, it's not pleasant, buddy. Also, Cornell's faced a lot of issues after October 7th terror attacks. Remember that you had that teacher that called the Hamas attack exhilarating. The FBI has investigated violent threats against Jewish students at the campus as well. ADL in their 2026 report gave Cornell a C rating as well. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten when I first started working on Capitol Hill is that everyone's replaceable. So I think that this guy needs to check his attitude, his discrimination and bias, and realize that he is not deserving of a job. He's got to earn it. And clearly with that entitled attitude, I don't suspect he's going to get too far in life.
Rosanna.
I'm just going to say that overwhelmingly, most young Americans are not anti-Semitic. So we should just kind of say that. But the problem is these young kids are rewarded with social media, and the algorithms support them when they say something outrageous. And sadly, a lot of parents are kind of waking up and saying, what did my kid just say? Like, have they been indoctrinated and I didn't realize what was going on in the school that I sent my child, that I entrusted my children with these teachers? I think it's a big wake-up call for America.
And can I just say one quick thing, because Emily, you invoked our trip to Poland. And in Europe, in pre-World War II, that era, it didn't go from everything's fine to the death camps in Auschwitz overnight. There was this slide that happened. And this is an echo here that we have to keep an eye on.
And another echo, according to Axios, assaults against Jewish men and women in this country are at a 46-year high. So this is an insidious ideology that must be stomped out.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.